What's going on, guys? Steeler here, back again with yet another episode of RDX Podcast, the realest motherfucking podcast around. And we got a pretty real panel today with the one pineapple goat herding eating motherfucker that's missing from the cast. D-Batch is a little late, not sure what's going on, but we do have us in the meantime. So hopefully he shows up. Fonz might show up. And he's not here due to a doctor's appointment, so he might get out midway through. So let's start with some introductions, starting with Glitcher, bro. Thanks for coming on, man. I figured I'd have a guest on this week.
Oh, yeah. I'm glad to be on. It's been a while since I've been with you guys, so it's really nice to be back with y'all.
Well, it's good to see you on the meth again. That's great.
Yeah.
Colt, bro, how you been, man?
I can't. How am I going to follow that? He did like a little sing song thing.
You can sing.
Yeah, good. Playing God of War. I was out of town for 5 or 6 days, so I basically got a couple hours into God of War and then had to let it just stay behind. So I got home and trying to like cram into that game. It's really good. Really good stuff.
And like I said, we should have at least someone else joining us here soon. So be patient, please. But we do have the newest member, yes, the newest full-time member of RDX Podcast. Did a great job the first time around. Been talking to this motherfucker for a while, and he did a pretty good job. Chemistry really well, I thought, with some of the best chemistry. So Shady, welcome to your first real episode as a member. RDX Podcast, man. Welcome.
Oh, thank you. Oh, baby. It feels good. It's not every day that you get to go from basically an obscure fan to get to join the show full-time. Feels fantastic. It's been a hell of a week. I found out a while ago after Dealer and I, a couple lawyers on an Xbox Live party, had to get some negotiations done, fellas. I wanted his firstborn. He offered a couple pieces of pocket lint. We met somewhere in the middle. Yep. It's good.
I feel like I got a pretty good deal.
That was pretty epic right there. Singing and pocket lint and everything.
But hey, the fans liked you. And as you said, you were a fan yourself. That's how we do it here. A lot of people that were on this show, we kind of brought on and they've kind of sprouted wings and developed their own following. And that's how we work, man. We need some new blood in the community. I think a lot of people would agree. So let us know what you think about the whole ordeal below. And for those wondering, the RDX live show question is back this week. Check my Twitter for information on that. And I must say, this week's RDX is sponsored by Dead Drop Studios and their new game, Outbreak: The Nightmare Chronicles. This developer was kind enough to contact me, send me several codes to give away to you in the chat. We'll be giving away a lot of codes during the show, and of course, probably some afterwards on Twitter as well. So, and I must announce real quick because I'm going to post this on Patreon afterwards. We got 2 game giveaway winners for this month's Patreon. Hareem H, you win Far Cry 5 as to your request, and Jason. What is this? Schoenfield. You win Killing Floor 2, both Xbox One X enhanced. I'll have this on Patreon afterwards, and I'll reach out to you, or you can reach out to me. I'll give those codes to you ASAP. And, of course, on to the first topic.
What a gracious podcast, by the way. Jeez, Far Cry 5 and Killing Floor. How do I enter?
Well, for $3 a month, Colt, you can be in the game giveaway tiers. So,
awesome.
Spend $3, get $60. Seems like a good deal to me.
That is
But I want to talk about Eurogamer. These guys just took a big old shit on State of Decay 2. This is what my last video was about. I don't feel like I was irrational in that last video. Honestly, I was saying that, hey, the game's not done yet, obviously. They were complaining about repetitive stuff, and that's where I actually would agree for some people. The game may come off as repetitive, but that gameplay loop is really what State of Decay fans love. And keep in mind, they didn't get it to sample the narrative in their playthrough either. So they were just kind of doing the same thing over and over and over, as were the rest of their complaints, which they were really hammering on, are the glitches and the inconsistencies. And I'm like, well, this thing isn't done yet. Is it really, do you got to harp on it that much? Every game's repetitive. What do you think about that, Shady?
Well, I also read a GameSpot article that was very similar in tone. They admitted the game wasn't done. And the first paragraph is basically, it does everything I want to see. Giant open world, scavenge, have to keep people happy, have to keep them fed, dangers all around. The next sentence was, I was lost. My hand wasn't being held because it didn't tell me where to go and what to do. So, I mean, I just don't know what to say. It came off as the guy just doesn't understand what the game is trying to accomplish. At any time, you're constantly given decisions on whether or not to go out on a mission to get supplies, whether or not you need to come back and maybe save another NPC that's being attacked, come back and save your base, which is being attacked. There's always repercussions for what you're doing in this game. They always suck. It's just kind of the way it is. It's an apocalypse, for God's sakes. How good could it possibly be to be out there?
Did you play the first
It's going to be
game,
rough.
Shady?
I did play the first game, and really, I loved it. The only thing I wanted out of it was co-op, which it now has. So with everything being expanded, as they say, the graphics look better, look smoother, 4-player co-op, I'm down.
Let me ask you this, Colt. You heard me several times saying that all I really wanted was an updated version of State of Decay that just runs, looks better, but has co-op, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And right off, you can tell that the visuals and the polish and the animations, like the gunplay, look a lot better. It's funny. I actually, what I wanted to say, D just jumped in, and we'll acknowledge him in a minute. He's in a timeout for being a little late. We love D, but what I really wanted to kind of gauge the chat and the panel is, wouldn't you think sometimes 50-50 when you play a demo, you're not sure if you love it? You know, sometimes you do love a demo when you play a game for 2 hours. You know, it's a hit or miss sometimes. There's some games where I've played a demo and absolutely loved it and went and bought the game. There's some where I wasn't really excited about the demo and I end up loving the full game afterwards. What do you guys think? You know, I'd like to get your take on that. That's kind of what we're looking at with Eurogamer trying out this game, which we'll get into. These other sites have actually been praising State of Decay 2 right now, and Eurogamer was one of 2 sites that were kind of hard on it.
Well, I feel like we had to make something absolutely clear, and then I want to get D and Glitcher's take on this. But for one, if you're a State of Decay 1 fan, you are absolutely going to love this game. This is basically what State of Decay 1 should have been. And while I'm not saying that, hey, it shouldn't be more, but I am saying that, hey, it's what I expected. State of Decay 1 with more features. It does have more base building mechanics, more features. It's more fully flushed out than the first game in every way from all the gameplay walkthroughs I've seen. Plus, it has 4-player co-op. And really, before I get D's take and Glitcher's take, there were some issues aside from that. They said there was a tether in the game, so you can only go so far away from the host. Jez Gordon, shout out to him. He says it was no worse than Far Cry 5's tethering system. So, you know, there was a few times for me and go up in Far Cry 5 and say, hey, get closer to your buddy, you're going to die. You know?
I was hanging from a helicopter by the grapple, and all of a sudden I get transported to a hut, and I'm like, hey, come on.
Oh, yeah, no, GameSpot made it sound like you couldn't even have 2 of your teammates go to the left of a house as you were surrounding it from the right. They made it sound that it was so tethered, you were basically holding hands. It was like, it just came off as hating.
You know what, though? I know that's not a technical restriction. There's no way games like Ark can have, you know, from what you just said, Shady, it sounds like 10 times the length between the host and players joining, you know, than something like State of Decay 2, where that doesn't make any sense at all to me. So I think I heard one of those guys in a gameplay video say they did this on purpose to encourage you guys to stick together. I would encourage them to maybe slack up on it a little bit, but I don't know because I haven't played it.
I'd also encourage you to stick together because when you die, you die. So maybe that's it's like that limitation is probably for your benefit.
Yeah, there's a lot of different variables here. Shout out to almost 300 people watching live already. Hit that like button if you can. We appreciate it. We're back again with another great episode, giving you all the news, including an executive taking a shot at a developer this week. It was pretty damn hilarious. I remember talking about this and so much more. So, D, did you hear about State of Decay 2? What's been going on with you, man?
Yeah, so I don't know how people are jumping out the window with one person's take on it. That cannot be the consensus on the game. First of all, the game is not in its complete form. Yeah, it's a few weeks out, but they stated that it's not its complete form, that there's some bugs still left in there. I don't know, man. I would wait until the game comes out to you, or before the game comes out, or at least they get a final build where they can properly review the game. And I would take a consensus off of everybody reviewing it, not one freaking reviewer reviewing it.
Like they played, because a lot of people don't understand that when you go play a game early, they're running different builds on different machines. It takes up to 45 minutes to transfer one build. Maybe they're working on the PC and or a different Xbox. They take that transfer cable and transfer the new build onto the Xbox. It takes 40 minutes to transfer that build. They're literally running several builds at the same time, and apparently they're running an older build here. But either way, like the main criticism to me is the glitches, which I think, from what I've seen, is already way less glitchy than the first game. Secondly, the repetitiveness going from house to house, and it's like they don't understand that you're gaining resources for your base, which then you have a narrative incentive to move and do certain things. They didn't address the narrative, though, to my knowledge.
What are people expecting? First of all, this is a $30 title. It's a $30 game. They're not billing this game as a AAA title to start off.
We should address that the developer has said they're pushing for a AAA experience. So I don't know how you want to take that. They moved the game from Crytek engine to Unreal Engine 4. They tried to add more by doing the 4-player co-op and making the game look better and making a true sequel. So I think they're pushing for a AAA experience. With a AA developer.
When they say AAA, the visuals have come so much further than they were. So when I hear AAA, I'm like, when they AAA it up is what the phrase I use. AAA it up, meaning build it up towards a AAA. In terms of fluidity, animation, mechanics, the jankiness, the jank of State of Decay 1 is probably mostly gone. Yeah, that's what I kind of think, and I think the price says it all. $30, like. There's your answer there. This is not a full-blown AAA game.
But from what I've seen a lot of playthrough. IGN had like a whole series last month. I've seen enough gameplay to know that it's a good game. I like what I saw. The graphics look good. I like the nighttime mode. And like, of course, it's gonna get a little bit repetitive if you're going from house to house getting resources. It's the same could be said about fucking PUBG. PUBG, you're going house to house picking up your guns. Same with Fortnite. Like video games to an extent are a little bit repetitive. Like, I don't know. I just wouldn't be jumping out the window with just one outlet's take on the game. You know
what's funny, D? You just destroyed like 8,000 people. This is repetitive. Let's go play fucking Fortnite. Like you're literally doing the same game mode over and over and over. And I get it. It's a multiplayer. Well, so State of Decay, but it's just co-op, right?
Excuse me, but the meteor crashed in Fortnite today, and there's a new area. Calm down, your goddamn hate.
Oh man.
No, D's right, because there are very, very few games that aren't repetitive. Like God of War does not have the repetitive issue. Like they kind of keep the pacing moving and shifting. But those games are kind of rare. Like an Uncharted 4 has different dynamics that go on, but most games, they are built upon their foundation of what they do, and we love almost all these games. And if State of Decay isn't for you, then quit griping about it. Don't buy it.
Hey,
move along.
Hey, it's Fonz.
Well, you made it in a lot earlier. Well, before we address Fonz, because he's a fraud, we got to get Glitcher's take on all this real quick.
I mean, I'm pumped for the game. I'm super excited about it. From the stuff I've seen, it looks awesome. What game doesn't come out with bugs and glitches and stuff now this day and age? So I mean, I wouldn't be flipping too much about it's glitchy, buggy, and the test. It's whatever, man. The game looks fun as hell. You're building up stuff for your base to survive and all that shit. So yeah, if you're running around house to house, okay, there's a little repetitiveness, but I'm excited about it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, especially compared to some other games where there's literally no systems in place. Don't let these motherfuckers fool you. Like State of Decay has a lot of systems, a ton of weapons, complete customization and base building, several different bases you can go and establish. And yeah, you're going to have to collect resources for your community. If you like the first one, you already know what you're getting here. We've said this before. So
yeah,
it doesn't change anything for me personally. I'm fucking stoked for the game.
Oh, hell yeah.
What's going on, brother?
Hey, man, I'm just sitting here laughing at just the stuff I'm hearing about, it being repetitive and everything. Because honestly, guys, what game?
Just to be clear, you were a big fan of the first game too, right?
Yes, but what game out there isn't fucking repetitive, people? I mean, you pretty much do the same thing over and over again in any game. The fact that they're saying, oh, you go from house to house and you do the same thing over again. Well, that's what you did in the first one. And I spent many, many hours in the first one going from house to house and building up my base and everything else. That's what you do. That is the name of the game here. What is the problem with that? And for them,
it's like saying in a shooting game, oh, you just shoot people. It's repetitive.
yeah, and based on what they're playing, they're playing a beta. They're playing something that isn't even a finished product, and they're already counting it out. And you got people making videos based on one person's assumption of a game that's not even out yet. People making videos saying it's horrible, guys. Come on, based on who? This one guy's
excellence on Suicide Watch.
look. And here's the thing:
dun, dun, dun.
I need to point this out to people. This game is a game that nobody should have put a AAA stamp on in the first place. Anybody out there that was thinking that this game should rival games like God of War or other big games, you're just fooling yourself. This game was always an arcade title for Xbox. This game, look, it's giving me much of the same stuff that first game did at a $30 price tag. I am good with that. Look, it got rid of a lot of the jank that was there in the first one, and that's what I was hoping for first and foremost. Now, I will say I am bothered a bit by the co-op experience, from what I'm hearing anyway, with it basically tethering you to the host. You can't really move that far away. That kind of sucks, man. I have to experience it for myself, but I'm hoping that I can move, quite a bit of ways without getting transported out of the host server or whatnot.
Who was it that said this? Somebody mentioned the fact that, when we all knew this, but when you die in this game, you're dead. And like I said, this is a design decision. This isn't a limitation of any hardware, because the tethering is going to be the same on the X and the S.
But here's my problem with it. Let's say you're building up a little base, and you've got your host. He's in there and he's building up his base, and he tells you, "Hey, go down to the corner to that gas station, take out those dudes there with this other guy, and then you guys come back in a little while." If you can't do that, even go to the corner, that's going to piss me off.
Yeah.
Well, here's let me see if I can remember the guy's name in the chat. It was Purple Rain, I think. Sorry, it's way up here at the top. He made a really good comment. He said he got so ticked off playing Left 4 Dead back in the day when one person would run off in the corner of the map to go do something and ruin the whole match for everybody by getting killed and getting downed. Like I was playing State of Decay on Party Chat, and dealers kind of explain how the game works to me a couple months ago, and I thought I was good, right, dealer? I'm like, yeah, I'm just gonna go over here and loot this. And all of a sudden I start going, oh gosh, oh no! And I start yelling. He's like, dude, they come up on you. I'm like, there's 3 of them. I thought I could take them, and all of a sudden there's 8. My guy's on the ground. I can't run away. I can't crawl away, and that guy's gone. Like all that progress, like it was like real,
bro. I told you, State of Decay is so good, and many of you will learn this because you didn't play the first one. State of Decay is so good at luring you into a false sense of security. Like, I'm good, I got a fucking machine gun, a flaming machete, a fucking, like you feel like you're good to go. I got 6 pills, I can heal myself.
A backpack full of gear you spent an hour getting, yeah.
And before you know it, there is a horde or a bunch of zombies because you've decided to make a bunch of noise or fire an unsuppressed weapon. You're dead. And that's what I'm saying. Fonz's got a great point. It'd be so much better if your buddy could run down the corner, loot a house real quick, come back, whatever they wanted to do. But at the same time, if they die, they're dead, and you don't get none of that back. And I understand.
You're right. You're right. There is times in the first game where you go into a house not expecting much, and then there's like 4 screamers there, and then a big guy, and you're like, oh shit, man,
run.
I'm about to get owned.
I'll tell you what I'm liking about this is that just like Sea of Thieves before it and every upcoming Microsoft published game, it's in Game Pass, so I don't have to try and convince all of my friends, including the casual gamers, to go out and buy it and spend money. They all have Game Pass right now, so the entry for them is extremely small, and I get to play with them all. It's great.
The other problem with co-op is the fact that, only certain things are going to be gained. I don't know what's going to be gained by the host that's not gained by the players playing with the host. I don't know, what's not going to transfer over.
Carry over all the loot, resources, weapons. You can give each other resources and weapons. So let's say you're dying with the blood plague. You can go join your buddy's friend if he's got a cure, and he can cure you in his game. And you can go back to your game, for example. So everything's very shared in that sense, including XP and materials, I think.
But it's the same as Far Cry like that, where the one guy gets the story progression and the other guy just gets his XP and material and whatnot with him. But he is risking his life. If you die in your friend's game, you're dead in your game when you go back too.
Yeah, you know what? I'm good with that. I'm good with that. I like the fact that the XP still transfers resources. That's good. That's what I wanted.
Hey, we got to give a shout out to Nintendo Direct. Go subscribe to that motherfucker. You want to listen to a Nintendo dude? Go subscribe to Nintendo Direct. But yeah, hey, we got to give a shout out to over 400 people watching live already too, Fonz, just because this is the community that powers the show. Thank you so much.
Hey, Deal, you got a super chat a while ago that I don't know if you can still get to it that you didn't address.
Let me check it out.
I just want to say overall, I'm still pumped for the game because I loved the first one, so I'm still pumped for it.
Yeah. Well, Cyrus Burke, shout out to you in the super chat. He says the dev said in the live stream that the tether system is in place since a month ago. Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah, he's not referring to you, Fonz. That's what Cyrus is trying to say. The tether system is there for a reason, so we appreciate it, Cyrus. In either case, I'm stoked for the game. Shady had a fantastic point. Coming to Game Pass, and I think this game's going to be lit. By the way, if you missed it, RDX, they did address Game Pass. They said they benefit from being day one in Game Pass because they get that user base, and it's all about that user base. They're glad they're in Game Pass. So if anybody worried about that,
I got one question though. Do you think this game looks just like the first one? In terms
of not at all.
No, it looks better.
I recognize a lot of the structures, the gas station, some of the buildings, but when it comes to animation, character models, texture quality, all that stuff, no, that stuff's drastically better.
Yeah, that's what I see too. And I was arguing with somebody online about it because they made a video and they're like, this game looks exactly like the first. They did nothing. I'm like, what?
I never played the first, but it looks exactly like the first. What are we talking about?
That's the problem I have with people out there. They're basing their assumptions on a game based on other people's assumptions that write for a magazine or whatnot. It's like, come on, do your own research, do your own play time with this game, and then come back and tell us what you feel about it. But don't make videos about a game that you've never touched in your life. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, that's just people looking to hate, like without any, like, you know, you heard me on certain games, like I'm not a fan, I'm going to speak it. State of Decay 2 is everything I thought it would be from the beginning. So you get a lot of casuals or a lot of people that don't play it and they just don't know any better. So, hey, I want to take this chance. Chat, go ahead and put a 1 if you want a copy of Outbreak from Dead Drop Studios. It is literally reminding me of Resident Evil 1 when I booted it up. It is Xbox One X enhanced, so you know, they are the sponsor of the show, Dead Drop Studios, and that game comes out May 2nd. We got just a lot of people putting numbers in the chat already. So yeah, it's basically like Resident Evil 1, but it was made by one guy. Keep that in mind. But I was still very surprised at how the game looked. So just keep that in mind.
My interest on that.
Yeah, I think it looks pretty damn good for what it is. So, and also for those interested, DM me on Twitter as well, just in case. Looks like I'm going to be able to give all these damn codes away today. Look how many ones we got. So, yeah, just keep in mind, it's like Resident Evil in many ways, including the fact that you can't drop items. You got to put them in the safe, just like, you know, and then you got to find the other safe and get the item back out and stuff like that. So,
so one guy got his game on Xbox. What the hell is Cliffy B's issue?
Is that in the topics today?
We'll get into that. But in the meantime, like I said, DM me on Twitter, guys. I want to give away more of those codes as well. There's so many names here. I can't multitask that well. Maybe Colt can pick out a winner. I don't know, Colt. I know there's a lot of stress. Maybe Shady can. He's the chat guy. But anyways, Red Dead 2, Fonz. Dropping a trailer tomorrow, apparently.
Oh, geez.
What are your expectations?
Here's the thing. I'm staying up tomorrow morning just to see this trailer. That's how much I'm excited for this. Dude, I think it's about time. It's that time frame now. If it is coming out in October, they're going to start dropping gameplay. I'm hoping it's a gameplay trailer. That's what I'm hoping.
Yeah, we haven't seen any gameplay, have we, Fonz?
Nope.
Yeah. And there's no delay, guys. Rockstar said there will not be another delay or anything for this game, so that's a solid date. So,
and did you see that new title screen or that new wallpaper thing that they put up with the new main character? What's his name again? Morgan.
Pierce Morgan.
Pierce Morgan.
Something like that.
I'm dropping the first code for Outbreak in the chat right now.
What, they just have to go punch it in quickly? Oh, you such
Am I-
jerk.
am I-
I hate it when people do that.
Yeah,
Damn,
will I
let
still
me get in my
choose a winner?
system.
Will we still choose a winner?
I mean, yeah, I got like 5 of these codes.
All
I
right.
gave you 5 codes to give away.
All right,
So.
I choose Cruise Missile. He's been here since before the show started in chat.
Awesome. Yeah, that's cool.
Colt, I don't know if you saw that though, but it looks very reminiscent of the Red Dead Redemption
Yes, I have seen it.
and stuff. It looks really cool. Yeah, I can't wait, dude. Pumped.
But hey, I do want everyone's thoughts on Red Dead. For those listening, hit that like button. Let's try to get up to 300 before the end of the show. We appreciate it. Fonz, what were you saying? You're staying up. You're what are you doing?
Yeah, I'm staying up. I'm waiting for this getting off in the morning and getting off in the morning. That didn't sound good.
Oh, baby.
Maybe that,
Extends.
dude. Yeah, that works. Anyway,
though, real quick. I want to
They
give a
work, but
shout out
anyways.
to the super chat real quick. Shinsaya said, happy to have a new game to play. Not necessarily a State of Decay 2 fan, kind of waiting for the E3 roadmap. Yeah, we get that, man. A lot of people are waiting, and no one says State of Decay is for everyone. So
yeah,
I think options are great, though, right?
Yep, exactly.
So, fucking Red Dead 2. What are your expectations, Fonz? What does this thing need to show you?
Well, see, after playing God of War, it's going to be hard to live up to that type of gameplay and stuff, just the excellence all around in that game. But I'm still hoping for excellence from Rockstar. They've never done me wrong, man. Every game I've played from Rockstar, I've liked a lot. Red Dead Redemption is one of my favorite games, is my favorite game of all time. And I'm not expecting it to surpass that at all, but I'm expecting to at least love this game. All right.
Yeah. So you're really enjoying the X enhanced version of Red Dead, huh? Have you checked that out?
Yeah, I did check it out, and it is gorgeous, people.
Oh my gosh.
Damn.
Shout out to Alan Savage in the super chat. He says, hit that like button, subscribe to everyone on the panel. You know what? I agree, Alan. You're a very smart man. Thank you so much. Be sure and check everyone else out here on the panel. And at the end of the show, we're going to have all the information for these people. Colt, Red Dead 2.
I wanted to say what was the last big open world game we had on console?
Assassin's Creed.
Far Cry 5.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Far Cry
Yeah. That's
5.
true. Yeah. Far Cry 5. Yeah.
I guess we forgot that one existed.
Yeah. Geez, I just finished that game like 2 weeks ago.
Giving away
there
another
haven't been a
code real
bunch.
quick. Invader, shoot me a message on Twitter, brother. I'll give you a code for this dead drop. For achievements too, just so those who weren't wondering. I played it for 10 minutes and got 150 gamer scores. So any achievement hunters out there, it's good for that too.
I like that too. Yeah.
Excellent, it is.
Yeah, Red
what
Dead
was
will
it
be
called?
great. I mean, it's going to be the biggest game of the year. We're going to finish God of War. Spider-Man's going to be out the month before, and it's going to blow people's pajamas off. And then Red Dead will come out, and we'll be like, holy crap, what a year. And we were griping about games, but there's going to be a lot of good stuff to play.
Yeah.
Can't wait
Man,
for
Shadow
Red
of the
Dead.
Tomb Raider looks.
I
Holy
can't wait I can't wait for Red Dead 2 on the X. Okay, I just got to put that out there. I can't wait to play the best version of this game. I know that's going to make some of you salty, but I don't care.
D-Batch being a PC dick licker. I gotta call you out. We kid. Do you think Red Dead is coming to PC anytime soon?
No.
You don't?
No, I don't think it's going to come to PC. No.
Why not?
I don't know. They did the first one didn't come to PC, so I just
I think it'll come to PC, but maybe it's like GTA 5, right?
Yeah, look what happened to GTA 5.
GTA 5 got delayed because it just wasn't ready to be released in time. So they've had enough time to work on this game. I think if it's going to come on PC, they probably would have announced it already. It's possible. It's possible, seeing how GTA did such great numbers on the PC as well, with all the mod support and whatnot. But they haven't announced it yet, and I find that kind of strange. So that's why I'm kind of leaning towards it not being on the PC.
I'll give it a little time. I bet you it comes to PC. John the Gamer, what's going on, brother? Noof Nukem, Lito Papa, all you guys in the chat. Shout out to you. Glitcher, Red Dead. You like it?
Yeah, I hope they show some actual gameplay. So that's what I'd like to see. I dug the first one. I liked that one. I liked Undead Nightmare. Not a lot of the Rockstar games really appeal to me, but like Red Dead, I dug. L.A. Noire, I dug. So I'm really excited for this one. I'd like to, see some gameplay and see what the visuals and everything look like too. But yeah, I'm definitely stoked for it. I'm gonna pick this bitch up.
And, all right. Now that we know that, Shady, last but not least, thoughts on Red Dead 2 real quick before we move on.
Well, they don't have to show anything tomorrow because I'm already sold. But for once, having said that, what I want to see really is what it looks like and feels like to shoot dudes dead. That is what I did in the first game. I'd walked into a town, massacred everyone, and just reloaded, repeated, reloaded, repeated. It was fantastic. It had the best ragdolls of any game I've played. You shoot guys in the legs, they're flipping, they're flopping. You blow them in the head, big exit wounds for the bullets. You shoot the horse in the head, he falls on the guy. He's got the hand in front of the face. Please, no, and you blast him. It was absolutely great. So I want that. I want to see gameplay of the game, not a cutscene, and I want to see guys getting shot. But I'm sold. I'm buying.
So you just want to be able to be the worst human ever, just in this video game. You know what I noticed, Shady, is Rockstar games of the 360 era had certain physics just behind them. In this gen so far, the one game we've seen, well, aside from GTA 5, because remember they haven't come out with the current gen game yet. GTA 5 is a kind of a remaster of 360 era. So, you think this game's gonna have a return to form of the physics? I really hope it is.
I really hope it does. I found even in GTA 5, they were a step down from Red Dead. They just weren't as good. You had, like I said, the guys, you shoot him in the stomach and he's like flipping around. And he's shooting his gun off in the air before he falls. It was just so dynamic and it felt good in a disturbing way. But I hope it comes back. Big time.
I used to love in GTA when they were trying to steal your car and he would drive off and they would hang onto the car door and they would just that was sick, man.
Fucking Spider-Man's hanging onto my car. This dude has the grip of death.
Yeah, my Civic.
It was over exaggerated, but it's what made like GTA 4 so fun. Like the way that the cars lunged and creaked and turned and like they'd almost flip over if you took a corner too fast. It was just part of like the sandbox that you don't really realize that you enjoy so much. Those physics are just way overdone.
I have something that you might agree with here. Now, for the love of God, Rockstar, please let the protagonist be able to swim. Please.
Well, you're going to be in New Bordeaux down in the Louisiana swamp area in some part of the game. So I'm sure they're going to.
There were swamp areas in the first one and you couldn't swim. You'd die.
Well, I do got to give a shout out to Robert real quick. He says, "Oh my God, this podcast is nuts." Well, we appreciate it. We appreciate it. Trying to keep you guys awake.
That's just shady.
Excited for games. There's a lot of good stuff coming, and Red Dead is definitely one of those funds. Your childhood's been crushed. Nintendo Labo. We're gonna cover this real quick. Not doing great, brother. Only sold through 30% of its stock in Japan. Not doing too great in Europe. What are your thoughts here? Did you expect this?
I think it comes down to the money. The price of this. It's
of course, yeah. It's $80 cardboard.
That's what it comes down to. Good idea, but I think they faltered on that price a bit. I
have heard it outsold God of War in Japan. Is that true?
And
if so, what does that say about that game in Japan?
Well, I mean, the Japanese don't really represent the mass market there.
No, they don't.
So
well, they bought Switches in droves over there. I mean, they really like their handhelds, guys. That's
yeah.
They bought like 6 million PS4s this past 4 years. So yeah, they don't represent the rest of the world. Definitely, they've got their own idea what they love. And
no, but that being said, I was at the mall on the weekend seeing Avengers, and there was Amiibo, but the Labo stuff all over the shelves. They weren't sold out anywhere that I was in.
Man.
So,
by the way, for everyone listening, I just want to tell you that the first guy that dies in Avengers, real quick. No, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that.
Gosh, do it!
No one dies in Avengers. It's a good movie, and you should go see it. But anyways, Labia. It's not. Performing. It's not performing to expectations at the moment. Doesn't mean it won't kick up, but who knows? We'll see. None of us.
That was the dumbest idea ever. I'm sorry. I did not like when I saw that. I was like, really? We're selling cardboard? Come on, man.
And something like that doesn't like slowly ramp up if it's not doing well. Which this is news to me. I hadn't looked into this. When you're saying it just now, it's the first time I've heard it. If something like this isn't hot, like right in that first week, it's probably not going to be hot later. That's kind of sucks because I don't want to see Nintendo go through that. They already went through it with the Wii U, and they're on a roll right now with the Switch.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it's bad for gamers that when something fails, you know, you want companies to make a lot of money and keep circulate it into the industry and keep it healthy and keep everybody on their toes and keep your competition working harder. So
does Nintendo allow you to stream your cardboard, or do they shut that shit down like they do the rest of their games?
I don't know, man, but hey, we got over 500. We got over 500 people watching live right now already. Hit that like button if you can. Try to get to 300 before the end of the show. And I'm trying to keep up with the chat here at the same time, guys. But you know, there was a little bit of a discussion on Twitter here lately, and you know, some people are saying exclusives don't matter anymore. First party doesn't matter anymore, and I'm like, well, it doesn't matter if you have 5,000 third-party games to catch up on, which I do not. It's kind of the principle of the matter. They should always be producing content. Fonz, what do you think about this? Because some people are now saying, who cares where games come from as long as you get it? You know, in a way, I agree, but at the same time, as an Xbox fan, or maybe as someone else as a Sony fan, you want to see them put out content because first party generally produces some of the best content for their fans, and really they should produce content anyway. What are your thoughts on all this? And he died.
Are you asking Shady?
I asked Fonz. I said Fonz.
Oh.
But he's dead. Shady, go ahead.
Okay. Excuse me. No, I literally just had a huge brain fart there laughing at Fonz, and now I'm going to fall into the same boat.
Shady sounded like he was adjusting his bow tie. He's like,
what do you think about these first party? First party. You want some first party shit?
Oh, yeah. Okay. Oh, my God.
we're doing this now?
Yeah. First party exclusives to me are important because it's the first party that knows the serious ins and outs of a console. So there should be bringing you what can be the best looking, the biggest, all that stuff. Whereas the third party is great. I don't care where my games come from, but when it's coming from in-house, it should be the best. So that's why they matter to me. But in no way, shape, or form am I having a good time because it says exclusive on the box and someone else in the world can't play it because they chose another console. Mm-hmm. That's not why I like exclusives. I merely like them because on average, they tend to be really good games. Yeah. So they do matter, but to an extent.
Yeah, that's a good point. I'm glad you said that. You don't like them because someone else can't. Nah. You know, you don't like them because someone else can't fucking play them. You like them because they tend to be quality. Forza Motorsport, in my opinion, nothing touches that franchise in racing. And that's a big reason as to why I became such a big Xbox fan. So that matters to me. And to me, there's no other racer worth playing just because that franchise exists. So I completely understand where you're coming from. They do produce some of the best, most highest quality. Even if you get Tomb Raider, right? Tomb Raider is going to be fucking fire, and it's third party. But that doesn't mean Microsoft shouldn't make Fable 4 or some other open world action adventure game because options are good. And of course, first party should always be grinding away. Microsoft are grinding away right now. I've heard some really good things that I can't even say here. That really makes me happy about the future, but it's going to take time, man. And Phil Spencer said that several times. Glitcher, what do you think about this? First party, do you give a fuck?
Oh yeah, I mean, I don't want to say it because in a sense, first party exclusives and stuff kind of define the console that you're gonna buy. So you know, it's like I'm gonna buy this console and it's got some of the greatest first party stuff. So yeah, I'm gonna gravitate towards the one that speaks to me. So it in a sense, yeah, they do matter because what kind of helps you judge what console you're going to buy. If you now, a lot of us, we own multiple ones, so we could have them all, but not Joe Blow doesn't have all the money in the world. So he's going to, of course, look at the one, well, which one speaks to me more? Which one has the better lineup that's going to, you know, ultimately define my final call of what I'm going to pick up. So
what do you think about this, though, Glitcher? What if I tell you that, you know, I own them all. Got a Pro and X, fucking PC, everything. But what if I tell you that maybe, I don't know, maybe I would prefer to play on one or the other because the ecosystem, the achievements, the friends, the features, the 4K Blu-ray player, etc.
Oh, yeah. And that's another thing that also kind of factors in is because it's like, well, what community and who am I going to relate with more when I'm jamming? Because, like, honest to God's truth, man, when I play on my PlayStation, I don't talk to nobody because they're and this is not to trigger anybody. They're just bogus. They're nobody to talk to. You try to have a conversation like, yeah, whatever. Don't talk to me.
Leave me alone, man. I'm playing Cyclone Sandals 7. Fuck you.
But yeah, like, but yeah, you hop on Xbox, man. Like within 5 seconds, you know, you message people, you're chatting up with 100 people and having a good time. So, and you know the X has got the 4K and everything. It's I don't
I
want
get
to
what
say.
you're saying, though. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Because
you know, and I do want to put out there that it's not the same experience for everyone. Some people have friends on PlayStation, and you know those antisocial motherfuckers get together and talk every night. That's a surprise, but it happens. You know, so it just depends on who you are and stuff. But you know, anybody else got an opinion on this? Regarding?
Go ahead, D.
Yeah, first party, it matters. I agree with Shady that, of course, you know, the first party studios, they have access to the hardware. They usually crank out the best stuff. But I'll give you an example. I have the X, I have the PlayStation 4 Pro. Now, honest to tell you, if they didn't have those first party exclusives, I would have sold my Pro a long time ago because I got the best multiplats on my Xbox One X and my PC. So I really don't need the Pro. But they got those first party exclusives that I can't get anywhere else. So I keep the system. So it does matter.
And if they were on PC, let's say you could get God of War on PC,
then I wouldn't have a Pro.
Yeah, you wouldn't have a Pro.
I would love to see the exclusive war shift more towards hardware and services and less towards the games. I don't like my games being held over my head or other people's head because they made a choice, but make the systems as good as they can possibly be and compete on that level instead of putting out underpriced, mediocre hardware that kind of gets the job done, but could obviously be better.
I feel
so
like
you're in that utopian universe where, you know, the games are on one magic box or maybe everyone has the same games and
kind of like
Sylvester Stallone's your dad and shit's just really weird, right?
It's all good. I'm flying through space, warp 9, all that stuff.
I think people they have to look for a reason to buy their console. And Michael Pachter said a long time ago that it doesn't really matter because everyone already decided years ago which console they were going to start off with, whether it was the PS4 or the Xbox. So, you know, when a console sells right now, it's because somebody wants to add to their gaming experience. And what I've learned since I bought a PS4 is like, if you want to play everything, you have to own everything. And because the PS4 does not offer exclusive online co-op experiences. Nope. They really don't have anything unless you're talking about like a mode in Uncharted 4, like online, you know, deathmatch and stuff like that, co-op. But you don't have anything like State of Decay 2. I mean, you don't have anything like that. Even No Man's Sky, we make fun of No Man's Sky and Sea of Thieves for being failures, as they are, right? Well, as it is what it is. But somebody told me, you know, I enjoyed No Man's Sky at the beginning, but it fizzled out just like you said with Sea of Thieves, Colt. And I said, yeah, I go, but imagine if you could play No Man's Sky that first week that you enjoyed with 3 other friends. And he was like, oh, and I'm like, see, you know, like that's really cool. I mean, the Sea of Thieves wasn't that great of a game as it turned out, but we did have a pretty good time that first week with friends. And that's what I think. That's where I kind of come to this realization that I bought a PS4 Slim. I'm playing God of War. There's nothing like it on the Xbox. I'm going to play that game on the PS4, and then I'm going to play State of Decay, and I'm pretty much going to be on Xbox until September when Spider-Man releases because Xbox doesn't have anything like Spider-Man. Yeah. But everything else that I want to do is on Xbox. Well, and speech over.
So, you got to give a shout out to the random guy. It's a good point, and this is why I already mentioned this. It's not the same for everyone. He says, "Don't you guys barely play on PlayStation? How would you know it's that way for everyone?" Yeah, that's why I covered that. I try to bulletproof every fucking thing I say. So, you know, it's not the same for everyone. But in general, people are less active on PSN. That's been proven. Ubisoft also says that Xbox gamers per user spend more money than PlayStation gamers. Like Xbox Live is just the place to be when it comes to online. You know, the place to be when it comes to that shit. Where the fuck is fonts?
What I wish would happen though this generation. I wish Sony would allow fucking cross-platform games, man, where we could have like Xbox versus Pony Night in like Call of Duty or whatever the multiplayer. That would be savage. Oh my god!
Shout out to Jesse Pup in the chat as well, man. Hey, real quick, I got to give away another one of these codes brought to you by Dead Drop Studios. Sponsor of the show. Code for Outbreak reminds me a lot of Resident Evil. Good for gamer score, and actually for being made by one guy, I was very surprised at how well the game ran and even what it looked at, honestly. So I'm dropping the code now. There we go.
Boom.
First one that gets it. Just another thanks from us to you for checking out the show, and also hit that like button if you can. Anybody else got any opinions on this whole exclusives thing? Did Fonz die? Is he back?
Sony choking the crap out of Xbox. It's time to tap out. Lamarcus is right. You know what they have a good handful of super awesome games that don't live up to what Xbox is bringing. But I am so perplexed that Microsoft is reporting such high numbers with the worst year they've ever had, like an embarrassing 2017, other than having exclusivity with PUBG and
Well,
Cuphead.
let's get into that real quick because that's the next topic. Xbox is dead box, bringing in $2.25 billion last quarter alone in the Xbox division. That's money. That's profit. That's bringing shit back into the company that they're reinvesting into other things. How is this the case? I thought Xbox Ones weren't selling, man. What's going on there?
I honestly don't know.
Fortnite. All Fortnite.
All Fortnite.
Well,
I don't know because it's obviously
of,
selling. There's a lot of engagement. People buy games. They pay for in-game microtransactions. They're engaged. They like their Xboxes. They're using their Xboxes, and that shows when it's time to start counting the bank.
I've said it many times. The Xbox has different demographics of the of the population that it appeals to. The guy that walks into Best Buy and he buys a 4K TV, the sales guy saying, hey, for $200 you can get a console that plays your Blu-rays too, which is actually cheaper than a standalone Blu-ray player. That appeals to that guy. To the person that can't afford an X, they can buy an Xbox One X, say at GameStop or whatever, or EB Games for a little bit cheaper. And of course you got the X that appeals to people that like the best looking games. If you play a lot of multiplats, there's no better place to play your multiplats than the X. Like it's substantially better than the Pro.
Yeah.
Wow.
I got to give a shout out, Fonz. I want to come back to you. Rayo Kirito says, game in the super chat says, game should not define the console you have, UI power, online security, unique qualities, etc. to the console themselves. Basically saying, hey, those things should define the console more than the console. Your preference should be defined by that. And you know what? I actually agree. That's why I'm an Xbox guy. Go ahead, Fawn.
I was going to say about the money situation. I don't really look into the whole money aspect of it. I know, as gamers, we want all these companies to make great money for competition's sake and everything. But at the same time, we have to look at what they're offering. And it's not just, we'll never know if it's console sales or services or, whatnot. But
at the end of the day, does it matter though?
Yeah. But you have to look at it in that respect, because
I don't think they're pulling in over $2 billion without good, because you got to remember in February alone, Xbox One did over $1 million.
Yeah, but you also have to.
That's ridiculous. That's phenomenal.
Yeah, but in this day and age, companies are making money off of all these types of microtransactions and services and stuff. I think that's why Microsoft is going the way they're going. Now that said, I still think that. And I don't know if you guys got into the whole thing, because I stepped away. I told you guys I'd be right back, but the whole exclusives thing. I don't know if you guys talked about that.
Lita Papa said game sales. What's a game sell? SELL. I guess he's mocking someone in the chat. I gotta give a shout out to Lita real quick. Sorry.
But yeah, we just have to look at the total. We'll never know exactly how many the Xbox One X's are selling opposed to the S's, and how much they're making off of services and microtransactions off their own games and stuff like that. We'll never know this kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But we do know it's vastly more outperforming the PS4 Pro, though.
But yeah, but we also have to. We do know that microtransactions is a huge billion-dollar business, and so we don't know what these games are actually pulling in for Microsoft. We don't know.
No, we don't. But the reason that we bring up and I'm with you, surely, I'm sure you agree that I don't care about how much money Microsoft are bringing in, because I'm not getting paid. I care about what they're giving me, the consumer games, and I know they're working on a lot of stuff right now. They are. But I don't get paid every time. I said this in a video or two ago. So I'm more of a show me. And the only reason we bring up this is because people are saying Xbox Ones aren't selling. That's not true. It's been like 100,000 to a couple 100,000 buying the PS4 for the past several MPDs. So you can't say it's not selling regardless, because we do know those numbers, MPD group. So You know, that stuff's irrelevant. I just can't stand it when people say something flopping and it's making, you know, among the most profitability it's ever been. That's crazy to me.
Yeah,
You know
it's also scary to me if, you know, it's not just the consoles, you know, if it is indeed microtransactions and things of that nature and these services that are really raking in the dough for these guys, it worries me about the future of gaming, to be honest.
Well, I will assure you, I've heard some really good stuff from some really good sources that's been right a lot in the past, that Microsoft are finally gearing things up, and we're going to talk about that later in the show.
It's not just Microsoft. That's what I wanted to
the industry in general.
The industry in general, guys. This is Sony. This is Microsoft. Because we've heard Sony say that they will have services and start looking into that.
Yeah, they're going to be doing more microtransactions and switching to users and all that, just like Microsoft.
Yeah.
Microtransactions aren't going anywhere, but I think the industry got a bit of a message with Star Wars that they can only go so far, and I don't think there's much worry for it to get very egregious again anytime soon. So I'm not too worried about microtransactions myself.
I'll always worry about them, Shady. It's just me, though.
Oh, yes. We've gone back and forth for almost a year in chat. Now we can do it on the show.
Hey, Colt, Mike Ybarra.
Yeah, he hasn't shown up in our chat feed in a while.
Fake Mike Ybarra handing out the.
But the real Mike Ybarra you talking about?
The real Mike Ybarra took a shot at the little frosted tip troll Cliffy B.
Now we're not quite sure, but I think they might have been bantering. But go ahead, dealer.
I mean, I was hoping you could take over if you remember the scenario well enough, right?
Yeah, he was talking about Radical Heights, his
You're talking
battle
about
royale,
right?
free-to-play game on PC, campy 80s type thing.
So Cliffy B was talking about the brand new battle royale spinoff. Of course, he's trying to just get lucky with these trends now, right? At this point.
Yeah, I mean, they built this game pretty quick, it seems. But he said we would love to have it on Xbox, right? He said this on Twitter, and Mikey Barr turned around and said, "Well, go ahead and put it on the creator program. We have teenagers who do it all the time." I'm paraphrasing, but pretty hilarious. But you know, Ibarra did come back the next day and told people that they're kind of taking his comment too hard. That they were just kind of. Cliffy knows. He said Cliffy knows that it used to be more difficult to get games on the Xbox platform previously, and with the ID creator program and the way that they've set up publishing games, it's a lot easier for a lot of people to get their games into the approval process and get them implemented. So I think they were just kind of doing their thing. There's a long history there with Microsoft and Cliffy, and a lot of people don't like Cliffy. And I know he kind of says, I'm trying to give the guy the benefit of the doubt because he says a lot of douchey stuff. But I think he really misses his relevancy in the gaming industry. He put out some of the best games back in the day. Even his final big game, Bulletstorm, I really enjoyed that game. You know, and I would exhort Cliffy to go back to that gut game that he used to build. You know, what made him what he was. You know,
well, what do you want to build, not what is trending, right?
Yeah, right.
Shinsaya just said something that reminds me of what Shady just said. Shady's talking about Star Wars sending a message and maybe being the beacon. The point that maybe the industry got checked a little bit. Shinsaya says loot boxes or loot crates are now illegal in Belgium. So these AAA publishers really have to reconsider what kind of fuckery they are up to from now on. You know, they're going to try to do this stuff. So that's a good point, Shady, earlier.
But I like stuff done without government intervention, please. You know?
Yes.
Well, I mean, let's trust the Activision executives to have a soul. We'll see how long that takes.
Damn. It's like asking if Cliffy B has a soul. No.
Gosh.
We do give Cliffy a little shit, though, because when he was on top, kind of, you know, and he's like, yeah, we're coming to PS4. He used to give Xbox guys shit all the time that we're asking about that game. And now he's like, we'd love to bring it to Xbox. And Mike's like, what the fuck are you doing here, you peasant? Get the fuck out of here.
Come on now.
I think Mike took a shot. He said, just use the whatever. The teenagers do it all the time, Cliffy.
It was funny.
Comes down to the fact that Cliffy B, you know, the stuff he says and the stuff he does, the actions he's taken that speaks louder than anything he said.
Yeah, I know.
Following trends is the biggest problem with him. And like I said before on one of the past RDX shows, I think he's lost that spark, that innovation, that I think he just doesn't have it anymore. He's looking for that next billion-dollar game, as he says. So he's following those trends that make.
He said this, right? Looking
the
for
wash-up
billion-dollar
rock star. He's got that washed up Rockstar complex. He wants to be relevant again. He doesn't know how to get back to what I mean. He could make something in the vein of Gears of War and different, and probably see more success than for him like saying, "I'm going to make something that's going to jump off the heels of Overwatch and turn around and say Overwatch stole our idea." That's not cool.
Yeah,
We can make a Bulletstorm too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, well, hey, someone said, who said this? Mike Ybarra said this to Cliffy B. So for those just joining, we almost have 600 people watching live. Once again, let's try to get to 300 likes for the end of the show. Mike Ybarra laid the smackdown on Cliffy B. Is pretty funny. He says it was a joke or whatever. He was kind of being, referencing something else, but I don't know. I'm kind of reading between the lines. Maybe a little too hard.
Me too. I translated that as Cliffy B saying, "Hey, Microsoft, can I have some money to put this on your console?" And they said, "Fuck to the no, get out."
Oh man. So hey, I want to talk about Shadow the Tomb Raider real quick. Maybe not real quick, because there's some good news with this that a lot of people aren't aware of, and I'm
4K 60 FPS.
I'm probably gonna make a video on the sad part is he's not joking. So Shadow of the Tomb Raider, the first trailer was revealed. Some gameplay details were given away, and the developer says it's going to be the best looking game on Xbox One S, and it's going to push the Xbox One X to the max with the new lighting and rendering system. He also says, and I guess Colt, you can break this one, because I mean, if the exposed video gets made, I'd rather be made on you than me.
Oh, that I'm so good at those.
Because I didn't say it technically.
Yeah, that's I get in trouble for saying what developer said. So this developer from Eidos Montreal said that the game is going to push the best visuals on the Xbox One X, and the interviewer pressed him for more clarity, and he said it's going to be 4K 60 FPS and up to 155 NPCs on screen while doing 4K 60 FPS.
Oh man!
So I'll just hit the brakes on that real quick. I think what he means is two things. He could mean either a dynamic 4K trying to push 60 FPS in the game, or he's mixing up his bullet points from his PR person that the game will offer a push for native 4K, but also have a performance mode for 60. And that's kind of up in the air with everybody.
I want to say that he seems like he knows what he's talking about. That's the crazy part, because he referenced 155 AI on the screen while being 60 FPS at, he said, 4K. I instantly called bullshit because I know that's impossible. On this hardware. It just is. The last game did 4K 30 frames per second. They're not going to basically run the box like it's a now 12 teraflop machine. It's not going to happen. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm thinking some kind of interlaced checkerboard technology that they are just calling 4K as they usually do, and they're going to try to run that up to 60 frames. But here's the cool part, is he confirmed 60 frames. So I figured that maybe they won't have 60 frames, seeing as the animations have probably significantly been upgraded since what was a 360 game, Ryse of the Tomb Raider, came out, because that game was built for 360. If you play that game today, it's fucking phenomenal, but it still has the animations of a 360 game when you're climbing and moving. And I figured, they're going to upgrade those.
This fits right in with what you're about to say. He also said that he loves the last two Tomb Raider games, but he doesn't want to feel like he's playing those great games. So that points to where some of the gameplay and those animations are going to be different and better. So I think that's a good prediction.
That's 1,000% correct. And like, this is from the team that did Deus Ex Human Revolution.
I think so. Yeah.
So,
I don't know if they did Mankind Divided as well, but they love what they do and they're good at it.
Maybe they did. Maybe is that the team that did Thief? Because that was fucking horror. I don't think so. I think it's Human Revolution. Maybe they're the same team. Maybe they came back with Mankind Divided and redeemed themselves. I'm not sure, but in either case, they introduced a new character in Tomb Raider, Larry Croft, right?
Come on now.
Anybody else watching that trailer, that CG trailer, which is done out of house, by the way, I guarantee it. They because it's kind of like when you watch a Witcher 3 trailers and Geralt looks different than he does in the game, and it's like
it's not in engine.
They really match things up, right? But Laura kind of looks like she's been drinking too much overcharge in that trailer. There's a scene where she just looks like she's on
progesterone or something. Yeah,
I don't know.
Let her spend a few minutes in the washroom before you judge her, boys. My lord.
Let us know what you think about that 4K 60 comment. Keep in mind, we're not saying it will run at 4K.
No way.
I actually know it will not run at full 4K, or at least a native 4K, 60 frames. I don't believe.
Well, the thing is about the game, it's pretty. I mean, it's not really open world. It's kind of linear. So I think that it'd be, it's.
The hub worlds are pretty big though.
Yeah, it's kind of half and half. Yeah,
Sandbox.
It depends, like how much you explored. I know you like to blow through the story and stuff, Fonz, you fraud.
No, I don't blow through it. But
no, he's right. It's not linear, but it's lots of big sections that are connected by
a lot of explorable nooks and crannies, I would say.
Yeah.
What was shocking is something like Far Cry 5 being a full 4K. That so anything is possible at this point. I don't know, man.
Well, this is 4K plus double the frame rate. That's a different ball game.
I'm just happy I'm not the one reporting on this 60 frames per second low.
Hey, we gave plenty of disclaimer.
If one of those two stats has to be wrong, incorrect resolution over an incorrect frame rate, give me that 60, baby.
Yeah.
Hey, at least give us an option.
I'll take a 1080p 60 any day of the week over 4K.
Do you guys think they're going to have performance mode day one on Shadow?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah, because D-Batch told me so.
D, give me your thoughts on this performance metrics he's throwing out here. I know that's not realistic.
That 4K 60, I think, honestly, tell you, I don't know, man, because these guys have told me shit in the past, and you guys know how that panned out. So I don't know.
I explained to everyone what that situation was. Remember, I told you, because we had another member of the show who talked to a developer about Far Cry 5, and the guy showing the game told him it was 60 frames per second. I said, there's no way. And then he said he later talked to that guy, and Ubisoft just contacted him to just demo the game for them for the weekend. He wasn't a developer. He didn't know anything about the game, really. He was just running his mouth. And that's what happened to you. The guy legitimately told you that, but he wasn't a real full-fledged developer. He just hired for the weekend to show the game off. And
that's been happening a lot lately. So when we hear developers claim stuff, keep an eye out for that, because like this developer for Shadow of the Tomb Raider, he's probably a big oversight manager, production leader, and his texts after they saw that interview, they're like, "Oh, no, you can't say that." That's not how it goes. That happens every once in a while.
If it were to happen, it would be a dynamic 4K, maybe. Even then, I'm still skeptical on that. Maybe they would enable variable refresh rate so that it would just be a lot smoother.
Maybe an interlaced or checkerboarded image as well.
Or I remember way back, I can't remember the exact interview, but Microsoft was talking about how they can do frame interpolation through the CPU on the Xbox One X. Maybe they unleash that feature for that game, but to be honest with you, it's highly unlikely it's going to do 4K.
If there's zero CPU bottleneck here, this is my issue, is that the GPU is not quick enough to push that many frames at 4K either way. So I don't think it's gonna. I don't know. I'm just remember this. Just bookmark this video for those that are probably saying, yeah, it could be done, and just keep in mind that I've been pretty damn accurate. I don't think it's gonna happen. Just take it for what it is. We'll see. We'll see in like 5 or 6 months when it comes out. Digital Foundry will fucking finger bang the shit out of the game with their tools, and we will see what's happening
before the first patch, right?
Yeah. So let me repeat that, people, so you get this through your head. Some of you, Dealer is not saying it's going to be 4K 60. He's not banking on that.
But D is. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh man,
I'm just kidding. No, we're just trying to keep it as real as possible, and they did some amazing stuff on the Pro and the X for Ryse of the Tomb Raider, and so kind of take that as a jumping point of what they can do with Shadow. And
someone said Halo 5 is 4K 60. Actually, Halo 5 runs at 1700p much of the time at 60 frames per second. It's dynamic. I think it might hit 4K occasionally, but either way,
it's coming down from native. Yeah,
these are two different games. And if you want that source for Halo 5, just go type in Digital Foundry Halo 5 Xbox One X analysis. That will tell you all the numbers there. Still a great looking game. Doesn't mean it's worse or bad in any way. Plus, you got to remember, it was a game that was patched after the fact. I have more faith in games that are being patched and actively developed with the X in mind, much like Tomb Raider. So we will see. Either way, Remedy making a new game. I made a video without knowing all the facts like a fucking idiot. And hey, this happens about once every 6 months. I don't check the boxes and I look like a moron. So I took that video down. Turns out that game is not going to be exclusive in any way, but they are showing off P7 this E3. They do say it's going to be a narrative-focused game, and they are being published by 505, and they're working on another title as well in the background. What do you guys think this is going to be? Do you think it's going to show off at the E3 stage for Microsoft or anyone else? Anybody?
I think it'll be on Microsoft stage due to the history with the two companies. It seems to fit there. The fans know who they are and haven't hated on them because of exclusive reasons. So out of the big guys, I think it'll go there because they're not big enough to have their own, and I really don't. 505 doesn't do their own thing, so
Yeah, they
I think
help
it'll be
produce
Microsoft.
stuff.
Yeah.
No, I'm sorry. I was saying 505 helps produce stuff. They've helped with Sniper Elite and some other. They're a publisher, aren't they?
Yeah. So they don't do their own shows; they just end up on one of the big stages. And if I had to guess, it would be Microsoft's, just because of the history with Remedy and Microsoft already being.
So, are we assuming a new IP, not like a Alan Wake or Quantum Break sequel?
I would think so.
They've teased Alan Wake 2 and Quantum Break, but only 6 people saw it that bought Quantum Break. The random guy says, "What if they showed off at PlayStation's show?" I don't care where they showed off, honestly. Just because something's not exclusive doesn't mean I don't play it. My favorite game of all time is a multi-plat. It's just how it is. So if it's on play, I'm going to play it. If it's a narrative-focused, high production value type game, which is kind of hard to believe based off of their financial situation. But if they're going to maintain their current path and try to make one of those games and it turns out to be really good, then I'm going to buy it and enjoy it. I bought Quantum Break, beat it, got like 800-something gamer scoring it out of 1,000.
Alan Wake did some cool stuff, and
Alan Wake was,
even though it creeped the heck out of me. I'm kind of I'm not a real big fan of scary stuff. Even that game's not all that scary, but the way it pushed the story along was just really cool and got really confusing towards the end. But
now
yeah, it's an old game.
They've teased these other games like Alan Wake 2, but what about Max Payne?
They don't do Max Payne anymore. That's Rockstar now.
That's right.
I could do with another.
Right? They originally did.
Yeah, they did 1 and 2, and then Rockstar bought the property from them.
Damn it. Because if you think about it, P for pain, and then 7 is 7 letters in Max Payne.
But either way, it's
like
confirmed.
We're running long, guys. Sorry, this show is we're running slow here. We got topics I got to catch up. Ryse 2, Colt. What was this deal with this Crytek executive or not executive, but developer that said prepare for Ryse, #Ryse in his bio? What's going on? Has this guy really not changed his bio in 5 years on Twitter?
That's what I'm thinking. We didn't set this up very well, but this is kind of one of those things that we were hoping would be something cool, but we're not quite sure. A guy that used to work, oh gosh, now it's not fresh in my mind. A guy that used to work for Crytek.
I think he still works at Crytek.
He went to work for Crytek, but this was talk that was back when Ryse, after Ryse came out. Mike Ibarra has actually tweeted a couple of cryptic,
and 2 times,
twice. Yes, thank you, Shady. Shady's been watching. He a couple weeks ago he tweeted out a really cool picture of a life-size statue of Marius from Ryse, Son of Rome, and then the other day, I think it was yesterday, he tweeted out 4 pictures from a booklet they put together to promote Ryse when it came out. He's like, "Hey, look what we found." It's like,
it is a weird time to randomly post these things.
Yeah, random guy says Ryse 2 is dead. Well, actually, what I'd rather say is Ryse, Son of Rome is dead. Like, that game has been long done. Nobody's talking about it. So why bring up Ryse? It's kind of one of those things that we see Microsoft do these weird, dorky, like projections, like these foreshadowings. So somebody pointed to this developer who said something about be on the lookout for #Ryse on his Twitter bio, but I don't know how long it's been there. So it kind of got me thinking.
That's what I'm saying. But you checked his post and he wasn't inactive. And it's like, you're telling me he worked on Ryse back in 2012, 2013, put that there and left it there for 5 years and hasn't changed it. And we're not saying Ryse 2 is the thing. That's always a question mark there. But if I was a developer, I would be definitely changing my bio from prepare for Ryse 5 years later,
Yeah, and the reason why I thought about doing a video on this, and I wanted to have a conversation with Dealer because he enjoyed the game as well, and he's talked to me about how there is such a good opportunity to make Ryse 2 something way better than the first one. They kind of explore the supernatural and the afterlife. And if they took Marius in Ryse 2 and made him like 1 foot in the afterlife and 1 foot on planet Earth, you know, and kind of have him have more powers than just all he had in Ryse Son of Rome was his sword and his blocking shield. And that was pretty much the combat for the whole game. That's why it's a 60 on Metacritic.
Well, let me drop this on you real quick while you get this together. Think about it like maybe they could approach it like they do Far Cry. Far Cry 2, different protagonists, 3, 4, 5.
Yeah, I was about to say
it could be a different era for a different team, in history. Like they could approach Ryse like that.
Yeah.
Sort of Assassin's Creed and just bounce around everywhere. That's basically sweet for a gameplay.
Yeah, and that's someone said who would develop it. Keep in mind, we didn't know about any of the studios they have now until they unveiled them at E3, the year of the Xbox One's reveal. So I think they have some news regarding studios this E3. I think it's going to be good stuff.
So they're a very subtle tease. They're a very unintentional troll.
Right. Yeah, that's true. But, if he had the sword, the shield, and like a couple of beyond the grave powers, that would make that game really what it needed, because that's what people said. The combat was stale with those 2 movements you could do. The bosses were really cool. I recently played the game right at the end of last year. I waited all this time to play it, and it needs to be enhanced as well. So that's that.
Glitcher, what's your thoughts on this real quick?
I mean, the cryptic, images begs the question, what's going on with all of that. So, I mean, I would definitely agree, like with, different time frame, different time era and all that. Like that would be cool if they, kept the name, but they did it in a different direction. It wasn't the same guy and all that stuff. That'd be cool. I mean, but yeah, when you see all the cryptic pictures, you're kind of like, why is this being brought up?
Mm-hmm. So, it is odd, isn't it? 5 years later, just they've never done this before. Like they're just kind of, I
mean, yeah, just do a different time era and all that stuff. So, and it would work. It would. So.
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't have to. I'm not bringing it up so it could be like something that can, get up to the caliber of God of War, because that comparison is being made like crazy and it's mostly ridiculous. But I just kind of see that potential. Like Xbox could use a really good version of Ryse, to go beyond what it was. Because I would think that almost everyone says Ryse was pretty good, but it just didn't
need
quite
more time than the other, right?
Yeah. I think maybe if you give him a child with a bow and give him a throwable axe,
make him bald.
Give Marius a child with a bow and a throwable axe.
There you go.
Oh my God. Okay, well, we got to talk about Phil Spencer. He's been on Twitter all week talking to fans, as he usually does. He's really good at it, and he's talking about what they should do. A fan kind of reached out, and Phil Spencer kind of had a good reply to the fans saying, "Hey, man, I want some next level stuff, some stuff like Halo, Gears was last gen." And Phil says, "Is that all? That's a low bar, kind of sarcastically." But he was doing it jokingly. He says that they should expand what they have, not forget about what they're about, what Xbox is about. So they're definitely expanding. The fan follows up with, "We need something definitely game changing for sure, Phil." Like I said, he says, "Is that all? We are definitely investing in time." So they're going to give their studios more time, according to Phil. He says the hardware, the ability to create deep and interesting worlds, stuff like that, stuff he's kind of rambled off. And he also said, as far as E3, he's basically confirmed that they are going to show off, for better or for worse, Japanese RPGs. So any fans out there looking for JRPGs, apparently they're going to show these things off at E3.
Well,
Bonds, I know you're dying for this.
Remember last year he went to Japan. He must have made some deals, and we're going to be seeing that this E3, and that's cool. I'm down with that. Yeah. Options are good.
We need variety on the platform. We can't just all have shooters. So,
well, in that
we got
case,
really quiet.
We got
this RDX group. Probably not a lot of us play a lot of JRPGs, but I mean, yeah, we do need that, I guess, to push everybody into more games to play. But that doesn't excite me. But
no, it doesn't excite me either. But
it'll excite some out there for sure.
Yeah.
Options are good, but I'm sure there out of almost 600 people watching right now, 16 of you motherfuckers like JRPGs, and you got something really good to look forward to. And like Fawn said, options are good, variety is good. People, say, well, JRPGs don't sell on Xbox; they just shouldn't have any. I don't believe in that either. I think that, you know, they should definitely try to tap in that 40 million. Speaking of almost 600 watching live, hit that like button if you can. Let's try to get up to 300. Almost there, almost 300 before the end of the show. As we go into Satya and Nadilla, our final topic. I also covered this one in my last videos as well, saying Xbox has the highest engagement rate of any console out there right now. Meaning these users are very active. They're spending money. They're playing games. They're using services. I'm hearing Game Pass is doing extremely well. You can get Game Pass for, I think they're doing a special right now. If you haven't signed up before, they're doing it for $1.
Yep.
So they got a lot of really good stuff in there. Fonz, engagement rate, are you surprised? What's going on? Higher than anything else? Any other current console?
That's nuts. How? Like I'm incredulous when I hear that, because the narrative right now, in even from Xbox guys and non-Xbox guys, is that Xbox doesn't have anything to offer. People are leaving the platform. Everybody's selling their Xbox. Nobody cares. If E3 doesn't deliver, they're done. But they have a huge engagement. I don't get that. Glitcher hasn't said anything in a while.
I just want to point out real quick before you say something, Glitcher.
Okay.
Colt, just to let people know, incredulous people means that he doesn't believe it. Okay.
Shady was giving me crap for using high vocabulary words in my videos. What was that one I used the other day? I can't remember. Shady was making fun
I
of
don't.
me.
Yeah, I don't remember the word. You got to cater to your audience. That's what I'm saying.
Fonz, do you are you? What's your thoughts on this?
Oh, I was gonna let attack.
You go ahead. Yeah, I'll follow up after you.
Attack's over there, fucking hyperventilating in the mic.
Yeah, my children are running around, and I'm trying to make sure they're not upon the podcast with me. So go ahead, Fonz.
I pretty much, I'm sort of in agreement with Colt on this. I have a hard time believing that as well.
Well, it makes perfect sense to me.
It's not a lie, but I don't know.
I mean, their other engagement numbers show very good numbers. So, I mean, why, Fonz? Just because the install base, like,
I guess
per user. Per user, there's less almost of every type of user on PlayStation.
Yeah, I really haven't put much thought into this, guys. Honestly,
We caught Fonz off guard.
No, you didn't catch Fonz off guard. Fonz is just basically saying it doesn't. What does it matter, really? The engagement numbers. What does that do for him?
No, exactly.
That's not what he's saying.
Exactly. No, it is kind of what I'm saying, though. Colt's right. Like that, along with the money aspect. I don't really follow this stuff too closely.
I just figured that you just didn't believe him, and you were just like,
no. Here's the thing. At the end of the day, I just want to play these games. Like, it doesn't. To me, I don't really follow the consoles on their own per se and say, okay, well, this console sells this many, that has a better player engagement than the Pro, blah, blah. I don't care. Like, for me, it's
don't we have to reference those numbers when we've got morons that run their own podcasts and misinform thousands of people every week, telling them that Xbox sells nothing, has no users, everyone's leaving, it's on fire, and it just exploded? Don't we have to point to numbers like that are factual and that are linkable and destroy these people?
I totally get why we bring it up. Yeah, that makes total sense.
I mean, it's not like it's like I benefit from this. No, but bring it up because they're flat out lying to these idiots.
But for me, it's not a big deal to me. Like, it's just me, guys. Come on.
Gotcha.
I'm with you, Fonz.
Shady, what do you think about this?
I think it's good news as both an Xbox gamer and fan. It basically means that the games I play online, when I turn them on, will have a better chance of having other people to play with because they're actually using it. I don't like the idea of having my console of choice being turned off.
One sec. Somebody said I'm referencing someone. No, I'm not referencing anybody. I'm referencing the whole community. I never just take just a shot at one person. I'm just saying that. And most of the time when I say this type of stuff, I'm referencing people that I've never even talked to. So I'm definitely not referencing Z or anyone else when I say this. And trust me, I don't give a fuck to say if I was. I would just say I was. I've got nothing to fear here. So anyway.
All you got to do is look at all the videos and stuff made, the negative stuff all the time. I mean, it's not just
there's a bunch of weirdos. Just type in anti-Xbox stuff. Xbox sucks. Like, there's so many videos out there.
Just read my comment section.
It's so easy to grow off of negativity here. And It's just like there's so many people out there I've never even talked to, but they have these shows where they just lie to people. And if I told people that PlayStation did this or didn't perform this way or had a lower install base or sold this much or the users were on decline, I would have to link every claim, and they get away with not doing that. And that's what I'm saying. That's why we reference some of these things sometimes. So go ahead, Shady.
No, I was just going to say, I've heard a lot of guys when God of War came out that they were given reason to blow the dust off their PlayStation 4, or when Mario came out, it was a reason to blow the dust off their Switch. And it's like, that's not something I consider a win. I don't want to be blowing off my Xbox every a couple months, just to play another game. I like turning it on every day to play my games, and I don't see reason to do that with the other systems. So they may sell more units, but I think they're performing the doorstop function a lot more than the game function that people like to think they are. They're just sitting around people's houses. Xbox apparently is not. People are online, they're playing games, they're buying product, they're engaged in microtransactions. Like it's a good thing, whether you're into the money or not. It's a good thing when people actually use your product.
Well, it took me a long time to buy a PS4, and I immediately played Uncharted 4, and then it sat there until God of War came out. You know, if you've got the console you like and you're playing on it, you know, it's just, I don't like to have something. I didn't want to have a second console sitting there collecting dust for a certain amount of time. I feel like if I have something that I'm not using, that it's harder to get to it and to find a reason to get to it. And God of War is a great reason to get to the PS4. And like I said earlier, it'll probably just sit there until Spider-Man, unless we have like a slow time during the summer, which we have something. But I still have games I got to finish.
I gotta point out something really quick too. I think it's just become something of the norm for a lot of people out there to just totally shit on the Xbox brand. Look, I'm one of those people that believe that yes, there's issues with the exclusive games department with first party and all that. Yes, I totally agree with that, and I may be hard on them this E3 if they don't produce something at E3. But that doesn't mean I'm going to throw out my X, throw it out the window, and never play it. No, I mean, you could still play your console, love a console, and still be upset at certain things about the console, and that's fine. But I think these people out here that are just speaking against Xbox for the sake of speaking against Xbox are not really thinking it through. I mean, guys, it's like you guys want to see them die, and then you say, no, I don't want to see them die. I know it's good for competition. Bullshit. Every video you make is against Xbox. It's always anti-Xbox.
There's so many dudes that only talk about Xbox, right?
That's one thing I will never do is just make every video anti-Xbox or talk anti-Xbox all the time, because there's certain aspects of the Xbox I do like. They have an exclusive problem. We all get it. Look, they're not going to be able to produce a game in a day, guys. Like, they invested in these games a year and a half ago. It's going to take time to make new games. These other games that they've been working on have been coming out. It's not like they haven't been making any games. They've been making games this whole time, this whole generation. Unfortunately, they're just not very good.
Yeah.
Bottom line, they've had some missteps. But are they going to turn it around this time?
Because a long time.
No, I'm not done there. I'm not done. They're not going to be able to turn anything around this generation. Of course not. We all know that they've lost. Okay, there is no more console war this generation. But if they want to turn this around for the next generation, start producing something. Show us a roadmap. Show us something. That's all I'm saying. But don't come around and say Xbox is completely dead forever. It's
far from dead.
I don't understand. Like, I see some podcasts where, I'm gonna throw out my Xbox One X and just play on my PlayStation 4 Pro. Yeah, okay, the PlayStation 4 Pro, it's got great exclusives, that's for sure. But you're not just gonna play exclusives on that system. You're gonna play the multiplats as well. And if you already have an Xbox One X, why would you play your multiplats on the PlayStation 4 Pro? They look a lot worse. They're not even getting to a native 4K on that system, for starters. And everyone's saying, "Oh, the Xbox One X is dead." It's far from dead. Yes, the PlayStation 4 is the king of this generation. It's selling phenomenally well,
just like the Wii was last gen, right?
Yeah, it's selling fantastically well. But all the consoles are doing well. The Switch is doing well. The Xbox One is doing well. The Xbox One X is doing well. They're all selling well. Even the professionals, the guys that track this, the MPD group, they are saying this, that all the consoles are selling well. Xbox, it's not losing money. They're making money. They're ahead of where they were with the Xbox 360. Unfortunately, it's behind the PlayStation 4 because it's just selling so well this generation. But it's far from a failure. Yes, we need more exclusives. Yes, we know this, and hopefully at E3 they'll deliver this. But the Xbox brand is not fucking dead. It's retarded.
Some of these same people talking against Xbox all the time are the same people that went out and bought an X expecting brand new titles to hit all of a sudden, which is ridiculous in my opinion, because we knew what they had coming in 2018. It was Sea of Thieves, State of Decay 2, and Crackdown 3. We knew that was coming this year.
Yeah.
Well, Fonz, I got to be real with you.
What?
When I bought my Zotac 1080 Mini, they instantly had 16 new games only for the 1080 that no other card could run.
But here's my problem. Listen to this. Here's my issue with that.
Shut that shit down.
They bought the X. They supposedly have a Pro or even a Slim. It doesn't matter for the PS4 side. So they bought the X. And rather than buying the best version of a multiplat on a console, because I have to make that clear because PC guys always jump on me, it's not the best version. Well, guess what? You don't have Red Dead Redemption 2. How is that not the best version on the X? But anyway, so they buy these multiplats on their Pro or on their PS4 Slim and pretend like, hey, it's good enough. Well, yes, it's good enough. But if you have an X sitting there, what the fuck are you doing buying the worst versions?
And
that's what base Xbox
most of
One
these guys were the guys talking about 900p and 1080p, and that every version is better on the PS4 before the X were out. So.
Especially when it comes down to single player experiences, they're still buying the worst version. And they're saying, well, it's not that bad. It's almost as good. Well, why the fuck would you buy an almost as good product for the same fucking price?
And it's really not almost as good. You're talking double the resolution on the X on average, like on games like Battlefront 2. Battlefront 2 has like better lighting, textures, ambient occlusion, reflection, shadows on top of that.
A double for quarter of the price, yeah.
Variable refresh rate, FreeSync, 1440p support, true 1440p support.
But I think
4K 60.
Everyone knows that the X is substantially better. I want to give Glitcher kind of the final word on this topic, but he's over there fucking breathing hard.
I know, I'm like hyperventilating. I think it comes down to, man, everybody's just going to dog Xbox no matter what. Even when it's doing good, they're still going to dog it. You get the better versions on the X. Like going off of what Fonz was saying, it's like, why are you going to buy a half-ass version when you'll get the better version on the X, man? It's just, people are just going to dog Xbox just to dog it. And which I don't understand. It's a good brand, and if you don't like it, nobody's forcing you to fucking buy it. You don't have to buy it if you don't like it, and go on with your day. Don't lose sleep over it.
See it. That's what the kiss on the forehead. See it.
They'll come up with an excuse for anything, like Forza Horizon 4 did really well. It's just a driving game. Yeah, they're going to dog Xbox no matter what because it's been the underdog the entire generation. And it's just conditioning. They're Pavlov's dog. The bell rings. A game comes out on Xbox. It's going to be downgraded for everything. The State of Decay 2 preview right now is a good example of. Somebody said to me earlier, they said, here's how you review a game on Xbox. First of all, you start at a 10. You take off 1 point because it's an Xbox game. And then you take off another point because it does this. You take off another point. It's like, he's kind of right. It just seems like that's kind of somebody pointed out that GT Sport got an 80 from GameSpot, and then Forza 7 got an 80 from GameSpot. And the complaint on GT Sport was it didn't have enough cars. And then Forza 7 has like 700 cars or something, and they gave it the same score. It's like, there's kind of a weird.
My whole point, though.
We're running out of time here. The show's running long. I got to address Classic Love in the super chat. I appreciate it, man. No matter, we get people that disagree and they want, they want to get their opinions out there. And that's perfectly fine. We're perfectly willing to address these things. He says, I'm not going to pronounce that Japanese name. Sorry, bud. But he says he was the CEO of Nintendo for 2 years and he carried out his plans. He was also able to carry out Iwata's plans. Phil, basically, is at 4 years in and he's giving us what? And he says he doesn't want any excuses. We've never given you excuses from what Phil's done. We've told you what Phil's done, which is implement. And he's actually said this in an interview. One of his first things he wanted to do when he came in was get that Play Anywhere system up and running with Universal Windows Platform. He's done that personally. He's also changed a lot of the policies. You used to have to pay to use Netflix and YouTube on your Xbox, for instance. You don't have to do that anymore. Little stuff. I'm not saying it's been perfect with Phil. But what has happened is they've gotten more pro consumer than ever with things like Game Pass, Play Anywhere, things like that. The hardware is phenomenal. They've over-engineered the X. It's fucking great. And now it looks like they are just now focusing on really smashing games. I agree with Classic there. Obviously, that's what you're getting at. They should have been doing that sooner.
Well, I just want to add to what you're saying there. Xbox fans have a short memory because not too long ago we were crying about how the Xbox One, the regular one, was anemic. How all the games were 720p, 900p, and they delivered a 4K, a true 4K system. Like we have so many native 4K games on our system that aren't checkerboarded, that aren't dynamic resolution, that are running at a native 4K resolution. We can record 4K 60 with HDR. It's the most powerful console out there.
If you watch my footage on my channel, that's what I use, the XDVR, nothing more. Thumb drive and the XDVR. Like,
it's amazing.
So part one is taken care of. Now all they need to deliver is the exclusives, and I think we're going to see some shit at this E3. I really do.
That's good. Well said. The Halo Storm in the super chat says the only pony I know play Witcher 3 on the Pro instead of the X, where you could get both 60 FPS, 4K, HDR, and all the goodies there. You're right. I mean, these people do it, but I will say, and I've said this before, I had a PS4 back in the day, or had access to one back in the day, and I still decided to play on the Xbox One before the X came out, knowing it was underpowered. Maybe they just prefer that ecosystem, but in either case, there are a lot of people that they just don't want to give Xbox a nod for that, and that's their own problem. I don't got to deal with it. So it is what it is, guys. That's our time. Thank you so much for listening. You guys are awesome. You all turned up. Hit that like button on your way out as we do some outros. And I want to give our first outro to the newest member of the podcast. So Shady, where can people find you, man? Thanks for joining us, and let us know in the chat what you think about Shady so far. How big of a fraud is he? I think he's doing a pretty good job. So where can people find you on Twitter, man? Spell this shit out.
Okay, on Twitter, I am so shady at the Sesh Empire. That's with no spaces, one word, the Sesh Empire. And I gotta tell you, people, whether you know it or not, whether you like it or you hate it, you're already in, hence the Empire. Why not stand up and hit the follow button and get recognized like the other 45 or so people that did last week? Made me feel good. I appreciate that. And thank you so much for having me back. I love being an official member of the show. It feels good. I look forward to each week hanging out with the chat, you guys, and talking about games. It's great.
Get used to it, brother. It's just the beginning. Colt Eastwood, man, thanks so much for putting on a good show today, bro.
It was good. There's tough topics today, but you can find me on Twitter, Colt Eastwood. You can find me at Xbox and PSN at Colt Eastwood, and YouTube at Colt Eastwood.
Dog, you're such a fraud.
What'd he say?
He said, hashtag sell your Xbox, power of the people. Fucking fraud.
Why? Sell my Xbox so someone else can buy it? I mean, that's what I did. Somebody sold their PS4 Slim, and so I could have it. So whatever.
So in either case, what do you got a video coming? You're working on some video ideas. People want to know when we're going to collaborate, by the way. I keep getting that fucking message.
Yeah, Dealer and I were just talking about what I should probably do next. Maybe we should collaborate on that one, but it's something we should probably do because it's always fun. It's always a good time.
Well, and either way, you know where to find Colt Eastwood. Fonzarelli, he was able to make it despite his doctor's appointment, man. Thanks for making it, bro.
Yeah, man. Thanks very much. And I'm sorry for ranting a little bit long there tonight. But hey, you know what, guys? At the end of the day, whatever happened to just being a fucking gamer? What happened to that? Stop with this bullshit fanboy stuff. It's old. It's tired.
It is
all this complaining and stuff. Look, I complain just like the next guy when it comes to some of these games, but at the end of the day, I play all these consoles because I'm a fucking gamer. Okay. Jay Fonzarelli everywhere, Twitter, YouTube. That's it.
Find Jay Fonzarelli at Jay Fonzarelli. The Sultan of Goats, D Batch. Where can people find you?
You can find me on Twitter at D_Batch, and of course on YouTube at D-Batch. And you guys follow my cousin, King Batch. He's been doing a lot of gaming lately on Twitch, so you can follow him there.
Your cousin should be putting you out there, fraud, not the other way around. Motherfucker's got 1 million followers or some shit. Jeez.
But he doesn't really concentrate on the gaming stuff, so I just want to put that out there for him. A lot of people don't know that he games, so.
And just so you guys know, and of course the panel knows this, I encourage you guys to put your information in the comments as well and stuff. And especially you, Glitcher. We've had you on a few times, bro. I want you to put your information in the comments there.
Oh, yeah.
And let people know where they can find you, man.
Oh, yeah. You can check me out on YouTube at Attack the Glitcher. You can find me at Twitter at Attack Glitcher, Xbox Attack Glitcher, and all that good stuff. Me and Noof got a new podcast in the works, so that's coming up soon. So make sure y'all are subbed to the channel so you can hear me and Noof yak about video games and rage quit all over the place. So, but thanks for having me on tonight, guys. It was awesome.
No problem, bro. And shout out to Noof too. He did last what was it? I think it's his most recent gaming with mixing up with Noof. The audio on that's a little choppy though. I wish there was a way around that. But yeah, check out Noof's YouTube channel. And Noof, if you're listening, which I think you are, link your stuff in the comments. Check out the gaming mixing up with Noof. His last episode, I think that's up, was me and Noof talking about all kinds of stuff. It's a good discussion. But in either case, guys,
Noof.
Thank you guys so much for listening. We appreciate it. You really power the podcast and make it what it is. And you know what? We're out, guys. Thanks. Check out the last videos I put up. Talk about State of Decay today, earlier today.
See you next week.
You lied to me.